Hi, I'm Aditya Nain.
Hi, I'm Gokul Narayan.
So I'm a financial consultant, educator, and writer with expertise in North American and Indian investments.
And I'm a cyber law professor with expertise in information technology law and intellectual property law, and close to no investment knowledge and understanding. And therefore, this channel. Aditya, why don't you explain to our audience why we started this off?
Yeah, so apparently, um, the idea of this channel is to have conversations between, let's say, somebody who knows a little bit about investments and somebody who knows a little less about investments, uh, so that we can help people take the first steps in investing by giving them useful but also simple to understand and easily digestible information. And the aim is, I think Gokul and I agree that in each episode, listeners like you should have at least a couple of concrete takeaway points that you can go and implement.
Yeah. So I perpetually have questions for Aditya and on whether this market, how to work around the market, and I'm constantly trying to beat the market. And Aditya's been trying to educate me about my attitude and make it a more holistic attitude, wherein I'm not trying to. It literally feels as if I'm trying to have a relationship with the market where I'm trying to do something behind its back. And Aditya said, no, become a part of the system. Don't try to constantly beat the system.
Be
As
like
soon as you
water.
become a part of the system, it starts working for you. So yeah, I hope we can share that knowledge with you. So to begin with, Aditya, why don't you give us a few um, tips on the average person who's trying to figure out what the financial market is? How would you suggest that he or she start venturing into this field, considering the fact that most people step into this on a hot tips
Mhm.
given by a friend or a person saying that this mutual fund is doing well, put your money into this, and that's how basically I started off, and I thought that was a very wrong way to begin.
Yeah. So I think that's a great place to start, Gokul, because whoever it is, when they start, that's how they do. It's the same with me as well, about what, 10 years ago or so. Is that you hear something about a hot stock tip, either from a friend or a family member or the television or the newspapers, who reads papers, right? But some website. And then you sort of pick that up and hope that, it works. But yeah, as we'll talk about, that's not the ideal way to begin. I think, Gokul, two things that we can really give people in this episode to take away with them is, since we're talking to beginners starting out on their journey, one is, um, how much, in a sense, how much to decide how much money that to start with on their
Okay.
investments journey. And also, second is making a distinction between trading and investing. So,
Okay.
if we can get into, um, let's say you want to take your first steps in investing, then, um, how do you manage your money? I think it's more about managing that money to make the investment. First is, I would say, safety first. And so it's sort of, a consensus among financial planners, advisors, and, around the world, in fact, that uh, before you risk any of your money in the market, make sure that you have what's called an emergency fund. Now, an
Okay.
emergency fund is nothing but, let's say, 3 to 6 months of your necessary expenses that you stash away in, let's say, a safe bank account, so that if something were to happen tomorrow, let's say you lose your job, then you're not left with nothing, and your money isn't risked in the market, but you have, let's say, 3 to 6 months of emergency funds to tap into. If you have that in place, then it's time to invest. That's the
Okay.
first thing I would say.
But Aditya, here let me just button and say a little bit. I have absolutely no financial discipline. I think I could generally just say I don't have too much of discipline. Period. But financial discipline, all the lesser. As soon as my general aura around me realizes that there is some money that has been saved up, there will be an expense that will crop up, which will wipe it back to zero.
Yeah.
So I understand that. investment requires financial discipline in a general sense, but could this be something where we could simultaneously start building that discipline through investment as well as saving up for this kind of an emergency fund? Could it happen simultaneously?
Yeah, a lot of people do this, and it does depend on your individual situation. Some people need an emergency fund more than others. So, for instance, if you have family money that you can fall back on, parents, for instance, then yeah, there may be less of a need of emergency funds, although it's advisable for everyone to have it. Now, having said that, you can decide to build your emergency fund up incrementally over, let's say, a 6 month to 1 year period, so that you are sort of putting some money aside, building up that emergency fund, but you can also siphon off some money simultaneously from your, let's say, your monthly paycheck to invest. Now, whether you take the incremental or the approach, or the all at once approach, would depend on your situation. Um, but I think the takeaway is, don't take the emergency fund lightly, because
Okay,
although
yeah.
no one wants, nobody thinks that they are, for instance, going to lose their job. I mean, we are in the middle of a pandemic, and these things are hitting us in a very real way right now. So you have a lot of people who've lost their jobs right now, but didn't have an emergency fund, who are facing issues. So keep these bad times in mind when you're taking that decision. But yeah, if you can afford to do it, incrementally put some money in for investments, and put some every month towards your emergency fund.
So how would we distribute that? Can we take a hypothetical example and try and make this easier to understand? So, for example, if I was a person who, let's say, earn 50,000 a month, all right, and I'm using 50,000 as a figure only because it's easy to calculate with, not for any other reason. So, if I was earning 50,000 a month, and I didn't have a family or anything like that, or too much of um, uh, uh, other liabilities on me, how would you say one go about calculating this? So is there any formula that one can use? So you already said 30%. So that would basically mean 30% of
No, not
50,000 would
30%.
be 50.
Not 30%. So you need 3 to 6 months of expenses.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
the way
first of
you
all, calculate what your expenses are, your basic survival money, your basic expense, calculate that, and then multiply that by 3 to 6, depending upon how safe you want to be. So, for example, if I'm earning 50,000 and I calculate that in a month, the bare minimum I need to survive is, for example, 20,000, then multiply 20,000 by 3 or 6, depending upon your uh, how safe you feel. So 20,000 multiplied by 6 would be about 1,20,000.
Yeah, so absolutely. That's precisely how to go about it. What you need first is an Excel sheet with your expenses all written down honestly. And we love to sort of understate our expenses and overstate our income. But just don't do that. It's prudent to have your expenses down. So as you said, Gokul, for instance, if you're earning 50,000, and let's say you're paying 12,000 in rent, um, let's just say, like, hypothetical figures, right? 12,000 in rent, maybe another 4,000 in your, let's say, your groceries. That makes 16, plus a couple of thousand in your, your phone and your internet and all those sorts of things. And all these are absolute essentials, right? So if the essentials come up to 20, then that's your expenses for the month. Keep a little buffer for a miscellaneous. But then if it's 20 is the figure, then yeah, multiply it into 3 or 6, and then that's your emergency fund calculation. Now,
Okay.
moving forward, let's say, so you had 50, 20 goes into your, daily expenses, monthly expenses. That leaves you with 30,000. Now, some of this 30,000 is going to go into building up that emergency fund that we just spoke about, right?
Correct.
But you're going to have some surplus left over. If that's the case, then I'd say begin investing if you have, if you'd like to. But just keep in mind that you need to first start with money that you're okay. You need to start with an amount that you're comfortable seeing the value of drop, if I said that right. So, for
Okay.
instance,
Okay.
if you had 30,000 remaining and you said, I want to invest 5,000, that's fine as long as you are okay with that 5,000 becoming 4,500 next month and you don't panic. If that 5,000 becomes 4,500 next month and you panic and make a bad decision and say pull the money out at the low, then you've lost 500 there. And that's not a very smart decision to make in an investing perspective. For some people, 5,000 may be a lot. For some people, it may be easy to sort of take a hit on 5,000, but you need to ask yourself that question, what you are comfortable as an amount of money that you wouldn't mind losing, let's say 10% in the next month.
So is this what is referred to as risk appetite?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. It is risk appetite. And, this is a very simple risk management technique. It's a psychological technique in which you just ask yourself, am I comfortable losing X amount? If you're not, then lower that amount. Because
till you reach an amount which is comfortable enough to let the unpredictable market forces take it in a direction in which it does. So if you see your money going south, it doesn't cause you heartburn and acid reflux and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will talk, I think, in another complete section about risk appetite, but that's absolutely right, because you and I may have the same income and expenses, but we may have
very different risk appetite.
Yeah. We may even be the same age with the same family responsibilities and liabilities, etc., and still have a different risk appetite.
Correct.
So that's just a psychological way in which we think about money.
All right. And what was the next point that you'd spoken about, Aditya?
Yeah, so it's important to make the distinction between investing and trading. And this, this series that we're making on Investing 101 is really about investing, which is, typically at least you should have a time horizon of at least 3 to 5 years of your money being invested. Anything less than that goes into trading territory. Some people think of trading as just day trading, where you buy something on in the morning, let's say, and then try to sell it in the afternoon before the market closes. That's one type of trading. But you can even be like a trader that holds an investment for 3 weeks to 3 months. But really, what I would encourage, and that I want us to talk about more, is also the long-term investing of at least 3 to 5 years, but ideally a much more longer drawn-out time horizon.
Okay. So just to summarize what we've spoken up till now, when anyone's venturing into this this field, first of all, not to get intimidated about it. It's not as complicated as one may feel, but yet I think I still must emphasize that it's not as easy as some people think it is either. I mean, it is a complex field. It has its own nuances, and the more we read about it, the more we understand that it's a complex field. But having said that, the 3 points that we've basically discussed today is step number 1, always work towards your emergency fund, which should be 3 to 6 months of your emergency sustenance money. Point number 1. Point number 2, decide an amount after having siphoned off money for your emergency fund, what you would like to invest into the market, and that would depend upon your risk-taking appetite or your an amount of money that you do not feel anxious about if it doesn't increase incrementally, and actually if it decreases to a certain extent, you wouldn't feel too anxious. And third, to get into the concept of investment, which is a longer term plan, a longer planned systematic approach towards wealth accumulation, rather than trading, which is anything lesser than 3 years. Isn't that what you said? 3 years?
Yeah, I would say that. And different people have different definitions of what trading is. I would just say concentrate on investing, minimum 3 to 5 years.
So thank you so much, Aditya, for your time. And I'd like to tell the audience, if you like the video, please subscribe to our channel. We will be having regular videos on financial ideas, concepts, which we discuss and put forth. Feel free to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up. And if you have suggestions on topics that you would like for us to discuss, feel free to leave us a comment and we shall include it in our videos. Aditya?
Yeah, so I think that's important, Gokul. I think we should get people to comment and let us know what they want to hear about, because as you do something for a long time, you sort of lose track of what is basic and what is more advanced. And we both really want to talk to people who are starting on that journey. So we want to make it as accessible and interesting as possible. Yeah, so we'll wait to hear from everybody, and thanks a lot for joining us.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.